The terrifying story of Elizabeth Fritzl. Josef Fritzl, an Australian man, kidnapped his 18 years old daughter, Elizabeth, in 1984 and imprisoned her in a hidden basement of their home in a small town of Amityville for 24 years. He managed to keep this dark secret from everyone, living a double life that even his closest family members were unaware of. The beginning of the nightmare: in 1984, Elizabeth suddenly disappeared. Josef reported to the police that she had run away and might have joined a religious cult. In reality, he had taken her to the basement of their home and locked her in a secret room he had constructed years before. This hidden chamber was soundproof, ensuring that even Joseph's wife, Rosemary Fritzl, and their other children had no idea it existed. Elizabeth was held captive for 24 years in the basement room, during which time Josef repeatedly assaulted her. Over the years, she gave birth to several children, 3 of whom lived in the basement with her. The other 3 were taken upstairs by Josef and raised as if they were children abandoned by Elizabeth. Convincing his wife and neighbors that they were caring for the babies left outside their home, Josef fabricated letters from Elizabeth to show that she had willingly run away, deceiving everyone around him. The end of the nightmare: in 2008, one of Elizabeth's daughters, named Christine, became seriously ill. Josef was forced to take her to the hospital. Doctors became suspicious of Christine's condition and requested police intervention. This led to eventual discovery of Elizabeth and her children, resulting in Josef's arrest. After 24 years of captivity and suffering, Elizabeth, along with her children, were rescued. Josef Fritzl was charged with the murder of one of his children, who died as infant due to the neglect, as well as numerous other crimes, including rape, unlawful imprisonment, and torture. He was sentenced to life in prison. Josef Fritzl had constructed the basement room with such skill that no one ever suspected its existence. Elizabeth and her 3 children spent their entire childhood in a yacht without sunlight or fresh air. The constant assault on Elizabeth not only destroyed her physical being but also shattered her mental health. The thoughts of children raised from birth in a basement room with no connection to outside world and no understanding of natural light is terrifying. This story can be transformed into highly engaging and horrifying content for YouTube by describing the emotions of the victim, the claustrophobic and terrifying atmosphere of the basement, and the duality of the Josef character, who appeared to be loving father and husband on the outside. The depth of the human depravity and the resilience of the human spirit makes this a powerful narrative that resonates deeply with audience. The Amityville Haunted House. In 1974, the small town of Amityville, New York, became the scene of the most infamous crimes in American history. A house located at 112 Ocean Avenue became known worldwide as one of the most haunted places after a series of horrifying murders. Background of the case. This house was home to the Defoe family. On the night of November 13, 1974, Ronald Defoe, the eldest son, brutally murdered 6 members of his family, his father, mother, and 4 younger siblings, all while they were asleep. He shot them in their beds and later claimed that voices in the house told him to do it. The case attracted significant media attention, and people speculated about what could drive someone to commit such a horrific act. After Ronald's convincing, the house remained empty for a while, but a few months later, the Lutz family purchased it, unaware of the terrifying events that would follow. The beginning of strange events. The Lutz family only lived in the house for 28 days, during which they experienced terrifying paranormal activities that forced them to flee. George and Kathy Lutz, along with their 3 children, were initially happy with their new home, a large, beautiful house at a reasonable price, but soon everything changed. In the first few nights, George started feeling cold all the time, even when the fireplace was lit. He also repeatedly woke up at 3:15 a.m., the exact time the murders had occurred. Soon after, strange noises and whispers, seemingly coming from nowhere, began to fill the house. Children spoke of unseen, terrifying presences in their rooms. Sign of haunting. One of the most horrifying occurrences was the physical change in the house. The trees near the house seemed hanged unnaturally, as if they were creeping toward the home. Additionally, the walls of the house started secreting a sticky, greenish substance in some areas. One night, the family was awoken by the loud slamming of the doors. When they went downstairs, they found all the doors wide open, and the chairs around the kitchen table were overturned. Kathy Lutz also recounted her own terrifying experience. At the point, she felt an invisible force grab her from behind and press down on her. She even claimed that at the one moment she looked into the mirror and saw her reflection transform into that of a hideous old woman. Filling the house, the Lutz family couldn't take the horror any longer. On a cold winter night, gripped by fear, they fled the house, leaving everything behind. They never returned. not even to retrieve the belongings. After this, the Amityville house gained global notoriety, spearing numerous books and films based on the chilling events. George and Katy Lutz never backed down from the claims, insisting that what they experienced was real and the house was truly haunted.